Hello and welcome back to the Edward T. Berry Ice Rink for day 2 of a pivotal 2-day set for UMass Boston in New England Hockey Conference play. My name is Seth Duransky, joined by UMass Boston women's hockey alum Alexa Capione. And Alexa, this is a monumental game for both the Beacons and the visiting Southern Maine Huskies when it comes to conference play. These two teams currently sit 3rd and 4th in the NEHC. For the Beacons, looking for a little bit of revenge for a team that not only ended their season in 2019-20 in one of the longest games in Division III history, going to 3 overtimes, but also earned a 1-0 victory up at Southern Maine earlier this year. Beacons need this win to pass the Huskies and also to split the season series. Otherwise, they'd be sitting in a pretty big hole if they wanted to fight for that top 3 spot this year in the NEHC tournament.
Yeah, I think it's a big game for both teams just based on where they're sitting in the standings. It seems like UMass, when I was here, we might have had the edge over Southern Maine, but I think, the last few years, Southern Maine has really taken it to the Beacons. Yeah,
as we take a look at the all-time series, the Beacons hold the edge and have held the edge for the most part. They won 10 of the first 12. Then it got a bit closer between 2008 and 2013 with the Beacons winning just 4 of 7. But then a 6-0-1 stretch when you were at school, 2012 to 13 to 2017, 18. Not all of those years, but some of them. And since then, it's been all Southern Maine. 5-0-1 over the past 2+ seasons. They've outscored the Beacons 12-6, limited the Beacons to 2 goals or fewer in all 6 of those meetings, including 4 1-goal games and a 2-goal game. And Alexa, you weren't on the team, but you were on the bench as the trainer for the women's hockey program for that game in 2019-20. 3 overtimes, 106 minutes and 5 seconds when Maddie Young finally put a puck past Katie Flagg in that 2-1 victory. First of all, what was it like to be there at that electric game? I remember watching the web stream. And is there a little bit of extra motivation if you're one of those returners for this Beacons team after knowing just how devastating that loss was for that group back in 2020?
Yeah, I think it was the longest hockey game I've ever been at. But it was devastating for the Beacons. To continue the season and not make it far for them, it was really tough. It was an awesome game to watch. It was exciting, but it was devastating, and I think they're going to remember that today and hopefully take it to them.
On the opposite side for Southern Maine, it put them in the NEHC semifinals for the first time since 2013. This is a program on the rise under head coach John Lozier. They've really been able to add wins to their win total in each of the past 5 seasons, going from 3 to 6, 8, 9, 12 wins, 13 losses in 2019-20. Today, they come in at 10-7, a real chance for their first winning season since 2008-09. Just as we saw with Salem State yesterday, this is a program that is clearly taking some steps forward, and a big part of it, a little bit of depth that we see from Southern Maine, especially today. They don't have their full complement of players. They're without a couple of big names, including a Beacon killer. Maddie Young scored that game-winning goal in triple overtime back in 2019-20. No Riley Bennett, their grad student captain. Jess McLean also out. But you look at this lineup, and there's some really talented players on all 3 of their full lines, including Madison Shagnon, a freshman out of St. Albans, Vermont. Team's top scorer is the 3rd-line left winger. That shows that you've got some depth when you can afford to put a player down on your 3rd line who leads the team in goals, points, power play goals, and game winners.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely have a deep bench. The UMass Beacons, they have a few of their players back too, so I think it'll be an even match here tonight.
Yeah, UMass Boston had just 4 defensemen yesterday. They have their full complement today as Gabby Shantz and Jane Ann Drill back in the lineup. The lone player out continues to be Kelsey Ryan. Right now, let's take a look at the highlights from the last time these two teams played in Boston, all the way back in late January of 2020. UMass Boston went up 2-0. Southern Maine came back with 3 goals in the second period to earn a 3-2 victory.
Even though we stand alone, we stand together. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Commander, fasten your seatbelt. Thank you for our Airforce Airlines. Just they say family that prays together, stays together, and one that walks apart just falls apart.
just to get here. No longer will I wake up and my dreams just vanish. It's staring right at me, I must take advantage. Hard work pays off, you get what you put in. So why stop now? Gotta keep pushing.
Those were the highlights from the 2019-20 matchup. These two teams met earlier this season up at the USM Ice Arena. Southern Maine a 1-0 winner. Georgie Snow scored a power play goal 16:31 into the second period, and Haley McKim posted her first collegiate shutout with 24 saves in the victory. We've already talked a bit about it, but let's take a look at the conference standings right now and show you just where these two teams stand. Alexa, this is absolutely humongous. The Beacons do have a game in hand, but a win today, you're ahead of Southern Maine, you'll split the season series, and you'll open up a nice little gap on 5th place. Top 4 host a home playoff game, and again, not to get ahead of ourselves, but it does seem like there's a bit of a difference this year between the top seed Elmira and the 2nd seed Norwich. You're going to be the underdog, whoever the 3rd seed is, going up to Kreitzberg Arena in the playoffs, but you might give yourself a bigger fighter's chance going to Norwich in round 2 rather than having to go to Elmira in that second weekend of a possible NEHC tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, Elmira is new to the conference. Everybody's used to going to Norwich. It's something familiar. Go up with a little confidence that you're in the 3rd seed. So it'll be interesting to see.
Let's take a look at the team statistics, and these two teams, both middle of the pack in a lot of statistics, but they do excel in one area in particular. For Southern Maine, it's their defense. 2nd best in the conference. They actually have a better statistical defense than Norwich this season. Southern Maine sits 2nd in goals against average and save percentage at .942 for the Beacons. Their penalty kill has been phenomenal, 87% after giving up a power play goal yesterday at Salem State. They have not the only team they've given up a power play goal to in their last 12 games has been Salem State, which is a little bit surprising because Salem State's a bit anemic offensively, but their penalty kill has been huge. And yesterday at points, it almost felt like the Beacons were playing an even strength or a bit on the power play with how well they were getting into the Salem State zone.
Yeah, I would agree. I think tonight's, based on the stats we see right here, it will be pretty even.
As we move along and take a look at the team leaders for these two sides. For UMass Boston, Katie Wilbert is on fire. 6 goals in her last 7 games. Player who might be even a bit hotter at this point is Katie Leffler, who has come alive in the last 3 games. 3 goals, 5 assists, had 2 goals and 2 assists for the Beacons. On the opposite side for Southern Maine, it's Madison Shagnon, freshman at St. Albans, 8 goals, 2 assists, and 10 points. She's been phenomenal, but it is a balanced offense. This is a group with a lot of players that can beat you, and you can't really take a break against any of their top 3 lines.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Shagnon play as a freshman and being the leader of the team and coming against a bunch of Beacons that have, you know, similar points. It'll be fun to see.
Let's take a moment to look at our player to watch, and after last night, it could have been a lot of players, but a player who stood out to me, Corinne Tretchell. She's found her scoring touch, 2 goals in her last 3. She gets a ton of shots off from the point. She's got electric speed, which helps her defensively. The Beacons needed a bit of a spark, and Tretchell provided that yesterday. The opening goal, and just a lot of good work in the offensive zone.
Yeah, I think her goal last night was incredible. It was a great ripper from the point. You comment on the offensive zone, but I think she's also stellar in the defensive zone. She pushes those bodies out. She uses her strength, picks up sticks, and I think she did a lot of help on the PK last night.
Really quickly, let's take a look at our goalie matchup before we hit the national anthem. Both teams going with their starters. Victoria Kennedy has been excellent all season long. Haley McKim a little bit better this year. She's in the top 4 in pretty much every statistical category. Picked up a shutout win over Johnson in Wales yesterday. We'll take a break, bring you the Beacon starters, and then be back to the Southern Maine starters and our keys to the game. So we're minutes away from puck drop.
Elizabeth Cramp, freshman forward, Farmington Hills, Michigan.
Rachel Bureau, senior forward, Marshfield, Mass.
Kaylee Kozik, senior forward, Wexford, Pennsylvania.
Addie Buddington, junior defenseman, Winnetka, Illinois.
Melina Maggio, freshman defenseman, Mount Prospect, Illinois.
Victoria Kennedy, sophomore goalie, Winthrop, Massachusetts.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Bring you the Southern Maine starters. Southern Maine will go with Allie Stymius, Shannon Colbert, and Madeline McLeish up top. Erin Tabor, who's got a team high 8 assists, will partner with Kate Colvin in the defensive pairing, and Haley McKinnon, one of several players out of Moncton, New Brunswick on the Southern Maine roster, gets the start, making her 17th start of the season. Let's take a look at our keys to the game in this one. And Alexa, after a game like yesterday, there's only a couple of tweaks the Beacons need rather than making some huge changes, considering where they finished yesterday against Salem State.
Yeah, I think these are huge. Defensemen keeping pucks on net. They had incredible shots that were getting through. I think created a lot of the goals, scored a lot of the goals that we had. Keeping traffic away, I think one of the things that we did see is that our goalie Kennedy was screened a lot last night. They need to push the bodies out, carry the momentum. As I said yesterday, whatever they said in the locker room in the second intermission needed to be said today.
Yeah, UMass Boston found themselves in a dogfight last night against 9th place Salem State. It was 1-1 after 1, 4-3 after 2, but the Beacons scored the final 4 goals of the game in a 7-3 victory. Should be a lot tougher today against the Southern Maine team. It's won 3 in a row, and again, has not lost the Beacons over the past 2+ seasons, 5-0-1. A lot of close games, a couple overtime affairs. UMass Boston looking to return the favor here on home ice. Beacons in their home whites with the blue numbers and blue trim. Southern Maine in the navy blues with the white numbers and the white crest, as right now we're waiting on the clock to hit 0. Referees for today's contest: John Murray and Jay Leach are our refs. Keith Babcock and Danica Corpaz are the linesmen in this one. So we get a bit of a delay. Good news for UMass Boston today. 4 defensemen yesterday. They get back Jane Antrill. They get back Gabby Shantz. That's got to be a huge help. I mean, you've done it before playing with 4D, but it certainly helps, especially on day 2 of a back-to-back. It gets this little bit of stiffer competition to have the full complement of 60 and 11 forwards. For Southern Maine, just 9 forwards today and 5D, so both of these teams short of the traditional 18 or 19 skaters.
Yeah, I think we saw yesterday how tough having 4D can be for the Beacons, especially with the amount of penalties they have. So having those 2D back is really helpful. Full squad, so we'll see how it goes.
So 27 seconds away from the start of this first period. So our traditional clock operator unavailable today. One of our student athletes, Justin Yu, filling in. And hopefully he has a nice, easy, and uneventful game. It's never easy when all eyes are on you, as we are about to get the opening puck drop here from Boston. UMass Boston currently sitting in 3rd. Southern Maine currently sitting in 4th. Southern Maine sitting in 3rd. Final meeting of the regular season. They met all the way back in early November. It was the Huskies earning a 1-0 victory. Same goalies, most of the same skaters out there. And the puck is being dropped, and it's going to be Southern Maine with it off the opening faceoff. Controlling it there is Jordan Colbert, who's the younger sister of Shannon Colbert. Pair of players out of Menominee, Massachusetts. Jordan wears 16 and is a defenseman. Her older sister, 18, is Shannon Colbert, grad student center on the top line. Southern Maine controlling below the Beacons goal line. Giving chase is Rachel Burum, and she'll collect. Off the boards for Kaylee Kozik. Good news for the Beacons that she's available today after she took a heavy hit yesterday and did not play much at all in the 3rd period. Tipped into the zone, and the Beacons will get a full-scale change. To the near side, collected, and flung in on net. So that was Julianne Nelson forcing the early save. Hannah McDougall will tip it back for Corinne Tretchell, our player to watch. Goes hard off the boards and in towards net where it's slowed down by Erin Tabor. Franciscowitz and McDougall along the far side. They're out there on the second line with Katie Wilbert, who had a pair of goals yesterday. To the near side, puck bounces hard off the boards where it's picked up by Nelson. Nelson, another one of those Canadians on this Huskies roster. She's from Armstrong, British Columbia. Katie Leffler collects at center ice, trying to get a shot off, loses at the last second there. Good defense from Amelia St. Amant, who, yes, you guessed it, is also Canadian, out of Cornwall, Ontario. Leffler from below the goal line, up top for Moina Maggio, whose shot gets tipped up by Allie Riefler, who scored her first collegiate goal yesterday. We near the 2-minute mark of this first period. Puck loose, and it'll be a chance for Southern Maine to get out of the zone. Georgie Snow scored the lone goal the first time these two teams met on the power play. Gets it into the zone, not much further. Riefler able to find Gustafson and now Leffler, as the Beacons' third line has had a long shift, and Gustafson will stay in as the rest of the Beacons change. She's stripped of the puck, and it'll go the other way with Brianna Doty, senior out of Lyndonville, Vermont. All the way in towards Kennedy, but it's picked up by Addie Buddington, the Winnetka, Illinois native. Jane Ann Drill trying to poke it out of the zone. Gets help from two teammates there. It's Burum, Cramp, and Kozik on the top line again for the Beacons. This group has worked really well together over the past 2 to 3 weeks. Liz Cramp gains the red line and will dump it in, and the Beacons give chase. Kozik the first one to it. Kozik handling along the boards, gets her stick picked up, and it's Burum behind the net. Burum has scored all 5 of her points this year at home. Turnaround shot from Kozik, slowed down there by McKim, and it skitters wide of the net. Along the far boards, Tretchell kept it alive, and then it's finally pushed out where it's picked up by Margot Butters. Butters and Buddington yesterday for the Beacons each had 2 assists from the blue line. And Corinne Tretchell added 2 points of her own, a goal and an assist. So a goal and 5 assists from 3 of the Beacons' 4 defensemen. Not a bad tally. Below the goal line, St. Amant battling, gets some help. It's pushed forward for Peyton Dukas. Dukas scored the game-winning goal the last time these two teams played here in Boston. The Beacons couldn't hold on to an early 2-0 lead. Shoving the puck forward is Erin Tabor. Loose shot from the slot gets knocked right back at her. Madison Shagnon couldn't get anything off. Great feed as Leffler finds Wilbert. Wilbert sending it below the goal line for Leffler. All the way around, picked up by Shantz. Shantz is shot wide of the cage. Hard carom and kept alive by Gustafson. 4+ minutes in, still scoreless here in Boston. Leffler to the front of the cage, and Riefler couldn't get a shot up. Puck loose in the neutral zone and picked up by Amanda Crowley. Crowley slows, dumps, and gets help from Snow. Snow looking for an option. Her pass slowed by Riefler, and it's chipped out to the neutral zone, but not much further. Southern Maine in the midst of the change, and the Beacons will take advantage as they easily walk it out of their own zone. It's Gustafson as the Beacons are in the midst of a change. Gustafson in on McKim, who will paddle it away, and now Riefler. Beacons getting reinforcements out there. Buddington from the point, her shot immediately knocked down. Good defensive work by Crowley. Getting knocked down below the goal line is Doty, who's still slow to get up. Burum gets tripped up, and the Beacons will head to the power play as it's going to be Jordan Colbert, one of the 4 captains on this Southern Maine team, committing the first penalty of this contest.
Yeah, that was a long time to go without a whistle, but we got a few shots from each team and some good breakouts on both sides as well.
Glad you noticed. I felt like I was talking there for a long time.
Yeah, that was a long time.
So the Beacons power play that scored yesterday on their second power play opportunity finished 1 for 5 as they had about 2.5 minutes of power play action late in the game when the Beacons had a 7-3 lead. We wait for the 2 minutes to go up on the clock on the tripping penalty to Jordan Colbert. And Southern Maine, they've got 5D today. But still, you never like to see a defenseman go to a penalty, especially later on in the game, later on in the weekend, as these defensemen, after a game yesterday, might be a little bit more tired. Yesterday's game was not as easy as it could have been for the Huskies. 1-0 into the final minute of play when they scored a power play goal in the final minute of regulation. .52 to go in the first period. The penalty up on the board, and we're ready to go. The Beacons going with the second unit. Cramp, Butters, Tretchell, Gustafson, and Wilbert, who's so good around the net. Butters shot knocked down by Nelson, and already today, Alexa, I would say that Southern Maine is doing a noticeably better job of getting in front of these Beacon shots from the point.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they have at least 4 block shots by now.
20 seconds gone by on the man advantage. Tretchell scored from the blue line yesterday. She's got a big shot, low shot. This time goes off the skate of Erin Tabor. A lot of traffic in front of Kayla McKim, who's a very tall goalie. Tretchell back and forth with Butters. Butters near side looking for Gustafson, just a bit too strong on the pass. Skipped right past her. Wilbert gets knocked down below the goal line, and it's dumped out just past the stretch of Corinne Tretchell, and heading off is Peyton Dukas and the rest of her penalty killers, who did a good job to kill off the first minute. Top unit out there, Leffler, Burum, Drill, Buddington. And now we get the final member, Kaylee Kozik, who is waiting to get a change. Burum getting tangled up with Kate Colvin below the goal line, and it's Leffler who finally comes away with the loose puck with 40 seconds left on the man advantage. Buddington, very good low shot, got through, but Burum couldn't get a piece. Addie Buddington had a pair of assists yesterday for the first team all-conference defenseman in 2019-20. Leffler looking backside for Drill, unable to find her. Buddington from up top. Drill, one-timer, and an easy kick save from McKim. Chance to clear, and unable to do so there was Shannon Colbert. Still 9 seconds to go on the man advantage. The Beacons getting some good looks. Here's Buddington right into the knee of a Husky, and that was Shannon Douglas, who was able to get yet another shot block. They're going to wave off the icing as it was apparently clear just before the end of the power play. And while the Beacons got some good looks there, Southern Maine, you can see why they're a really good defensive player tumbles down right at the blue line, almost gave the Beacons a mini 2-on-1 chance. This Huskies team, it's all about their team defense. Kayla McKim only had to make 1, maybe 2 saves because of the shot blocks from Southern Maine on that penalty kill.
Yeah, Southern Maine does a really good job at keeping it tight in the middle on this PK. Beacons did take advantage and work it around the outside, but they just weren't able to get it through.
And while I haven't really played a lot of minutes at a high-level hockey game, you'd have to think it's a little bit contagious. When you've got one player getting a shot block, everybody else wants to get involved, as there's another block shot from distance. Franciscowicz right into the ankle of Erin Tabor. Up top, it's handled there by Maggio. Dangerous G-to-D pass looking for shots, and it's stripped away. Amanda Crowley into the zone. Drop pass, able to find Madison McLeish. Battling for it. Puck comes all the way back out top for Colbert. Jordan Colbert dishing it down low for Georgie Snow. Snow looking for options. Centering feed was looking for one teammate, found the other. And eventually, it's a save there on Shannon Colbert, as Victoria Kennedy, who had a couple minutes to herself in the Beacons end, is forced to make a rare save here in the first period. 11:26 to go in a scoreless first period. Face-off coming here between Gustafson and Nelson. Another win for the Huskies. Nelson battling Butters, and eventually it's Gustafson who comes away with it. Gustafson, dangerous play coming out right in front of her crease. Ends up working out for the Beacons as it comes all the way out of the zone. Peyton Dukas Inadvertent back pass, and McKim will hold on. So going to face off on the opposite end of the ice. And while we saw 10 goals yesterday and expected a much lower number, today it feels like this really could be a game where 1 or even 2 goals could be enough.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think we're going to see nearly as many goals as we saw last night.
Centering feed for Gustafson. She tumbles over, and it allows the Huskies to get it out into the neutral zone. Leffler with it, evades one player in a second. Gustafson unable to dangle her way through traffic. Leffler still battling there with Shannon Colbert, and eventually kicked around for Stymiest. Stymiest, the freshman of Moncton, New Brunswick, who scored a goal in each of the last 2 games, had the power play goal in the final minute of regulation yesterday to put the game away. It was an empty net goal yesterday as Johnson and Wales, despite being down a player, went for it in the final minute. All counts the same. Into the Beacon zone they go. Jane Andrill trying to get through a couple of players. Very dangerous play, 2-on-1 chance. The shot, Kennedy to save. And let's see, we're gonna see a penalty. And is it Buddington or Georgie Snow who's gonna go? I think Buddington was battling with Snow right in front of the crease. And I do believe it's gonna be Southern Maine going on the power play for the first time as Buddington forced to take the penalty after Jane Andrill tried to weave her way through traffic there, and a really good look for Southern Maine off the turnover.
Yeah, that was a tough turnover there for Drill.
So Buddington will sit. Southern Maine to the power play. Shannon Colbert in the face-off against Katie Wilbert, and Colbert wins it. Out top, it's Jordan Colbert. Colbert going back and forth with Brianna Doty. Kennedy makes the save from distance. And we'll get a whistle with 1:55 to go on the man advantage. 10:06 to go in the first. The Beacons foursome. Shantz, Wilbert, McDougall, and Tretchell. As again, Shannon Colbert able to win the faceoff. On the far side, it's Stymiest. Up top as the Beacons really pressure Southern Maine on the perimeter here. Stymiest for Colbert to the other Colbert, that's Jordan. Back to Shannon. Shannon for Jordan. Jordan's shot, easy save for Kennedy with no kind of traffic in front. 30 seconds gone by on the man advantage, handled by Brianna Doty here. Doty up top for Douglas, right back for Doty. Good little poke from Tretchell, but not enough to get out of the zone. Wilbert fighting in the corners. Beacon's just trying to poke it another 2 feet. It comes loose, and Tretchell just enough to get it out of the zone. Now Tretchell collects, and she'll send it as far as the Southern Maine blue line. Beacons get 2 new skaters out there, Drill and Kozik joining Wilbert and Tretchell. Drill a chance to clear, and she's denied. Still battling along the far side. Pokes it as far as the blue line, but the Beacons can't get it out. Tretchell pushing it up, and good job getting over there by Amelia St. Amant. Kennedy, a big rebound loose. Unfortunately, Kozik gets there. Now the Beacons can think about a 2-on-1. Wilbur to her right. Kozik's one of the Beacons' best skaters. 2-on-1 opportunity. Kozik shoots, and the puck is still loose. Ends up below the goal line. Kozik sends it up the side of the cage a couple times. Wilbur, who's been out there for the full 1:30, will head off. And if nothing else, Alexa, that's a really good way to kill some clock, as we're going to see another penalty coming against the Beacons. I think it's going to be Maggio this time for a trip. We will get a whistle. The Beacons did such a good job of being aggressive there on that 2-on-1, but it's going to cost them, as on the attempted zone exit, to trip on Maggio. It'll be 11 seconds of 5-on-3. And for a Beacons team that has 6 defensemen, a little bit easier to deal with this after they had just 4 yesterday.
Yeah, I think they had a great kill there. They were really good at pushing the bodies out in front, had an awesome 2-on-1 opportunity, but unfortunately this is the position they find themselves in again, as they did last night.
Cramp, Tretchell, and Shantz, 3 first-year players for UMass Boston, the 3 penalty killers on this short 5-on-3. Shot from Colbert and the save from Kennedy. 5 seconds to go until the minor on Buddington ends. Down to 2. One last shot from Colbert. Kennedy to save, puck's loose. And on the rebound opportunity, Stymiest is stymied. Minute 45 to go on the 5-on-4 now as Kozik joins, and Cramp is going to send it down the length of the ice. She can really motor, but she's not going to win this foot race. Getting back quickly was Peyton Dukas. Cramp, though, joined by Kozik, and the Beacons will collect the puck in the offensive zone. Kozik, such a smart player, all the way out for Butters, and now the Beacons doing a great job of killing clock effectively here on this now back-to-back penalties.
That was such a smart play to Kozik to pass it back to the defense there, make Southern Maine come out of their zone, skate a little more, get a little more tired.
And this is taking 30, 40 seconds where Southern Maine hasn't been in the zone, much less been set up in the zone. Nelson attempting to do that. She dumps it on Kennedy, and that's a really smart play by Julianne Nelson, forcing the offensive zone draw.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Beacons did a really good job keeping Southern Maine in the neutral zone. Good angles there.
57 seconds to go on the man advantage. 7:18 to go in the first period. Beacons unsuccessful on their power play. Southern Maine getting back-to-back chances. In fact, about 11 seconds of 5-on-3. It's Melina Maggio still in the box after Addie Buddington. Minor was killed off. Long feed just barely stays within the perimeter of the rink, and that benefits the Beacons as it goes all the way down. And Gustafson, aggressive forecheck out there all by herself, able to force some pressure. Wilbert, Stretchell, and Buddington, the other three Beacons. Into the zone is St. Amant, forcing a save, a second save, and Kennedy holds on.
That was a great save by Kennedy there. First the initial save, and she was ready for the rebound as well.
Well, Kennedy didn't have to do much work yesterday. 6 saves on 7 shots. She was actually pulled to start the second period. They went to Romy Tebow, who gave up 2 goals. Kennedy did not give up a goal the rest of the way. But sometimes if you're a goalie, it feels like getting some of these early shots benefits you because you can get your confidence into the game. You can kind of get a feel for this game, as Kennedy really didn't have to do much work at all over the 40-plus minutes she played yesterday. Jane Andrill attempting to exit the zone. 10 seconds left to go on the second penalty on the Beacons. Battling along the near boards and finally winning it are the Huskies with Shannon Douglas. Douglas for Doty. We're back to 5-on-5. Shot through traffic, tipped up at the last possible second, but wide of the net by Stymiest. Long stretch, this will not go for an icing. They say that it made contact with the Husky. And the Beacons will now look to put a little pressure on the Huskies as Doty got very little behind that attempted pass. Picked away by Kozik. Loose in the neutral zone. Good stick work there by Shannon Colbert to push it forward, but eventually collected by the Beacons. Almost 15 minutes gone by here in the first period between the 3rd and 4th ranked teams in the NEHC thus far. Victoria Kennedy makes the save from the far side and will hold on after the look from Georgie Snow, who's got the lone goal between these two sides through nearly 4 periods of play this season. Snow and Wilbert opposing number 17s, pair of sophomores in the face-off top. Wilbert from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Snow a little bit closer in Yarmouthport, Massachusetts. Handling the puck is Amanda Crowley up top. Shot doesn't get all the way through as St. Amant's look from the point knocked down by Wilbert. St. Amant hard off the boards for Snow. Dekes around one player and loses the puck in the neutral zone. McDougall gives it right back. So we're seeing a pair of teams that have some pretty good team speed and a little bit of skill as well. That one right off the skate of Wilbert. She'll give chase against the much larger Amant. Centering feed, and Franciscowitz couldn't get much behind that look. Really good pass from below the goal line. Franciscowitz right back for McDougall. Under 5 to go in the first period. Chance in front, Franciscowitz right off the skate of St. Amant. Pair of good looks for Emily Franciscowitz, the William Smith transfer. 2-on-2 opportunity the other way. Madison Shagnon, the team's leading scorer, stripped of the puck by Buddington, barely kept in by Nelson. Drill, this time able to weave her way out of some traffic. Ahead for Franciscowitz. The Beacons in the midst of a change. Franciscowitz avoids the rub of a Husky. Now it's Leffler below the goal line, and she's stripped by Shannon Colbert. Colbert through a little bit of snow, ahead for Stymius. The Beacons collect. Pass goes right off the back of a Beacons skate. Could have been disastrous. 2-on-2, we go the other way. Leffler looking for Riefler. Riefler had to wait as the initial pass was denied. Riefler from the top of the zone, trying to get a shot off. Gets tangled up with two Huskies, leaves it off for Shantz. Shantz with options. Her shot gets tipped. Bouncing puck, and Riefler keeps it alive in the zone. 3:40 to go, and it just feels like there is very little time for UMass Boston to get any kind of shot off from distance. Huskies close so quickly.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job at defending here against the Beacons. I mean, the Beacons have barely been able to get a shot off. Definitely not from the point, as I think a majority of them have been blocked.
Centering feed for Georgie Snow, but she couldn't get a look off. Now Burham charges towards the net, and McKim will paddle it away. Shot from the near boards. It goes off the glove and well wide from Tretchell. Kozik nearly stripped to the puck and eventually does lose it. Good job by Tretchell reading the outlet pass, and she breaks it up and keeps it in the zone. 3 minutes to go in a scoreless first period. Kozik trying to keep it alive. Tretchell comes over to potentially poke it loose, and eventually the Huskies control with Tabor. Tabor's pass, aiming for a teammate who was heading off, and the Beacons will collect in their own zone. Kozik around the first player, that's Shannon Colbert. She'll dump and head off as Liz Cramp already on, or will stay on from that first line. Members of the second line back out there, Wilbert and Franciscus, with McDougal getting her turn now. Outlet pass, and with speed the other way is Shagnon. Boddington trying to slow her down. Shagnon still with it, and coming back to help out is Jane Ann Drill. You can see the skill there from Madison Shagnon. She nearly was able to dangle her way through Boddington. Doty all the way around. Whiffs on the pass, finally able to find Shagnon, who couldn't bull her way through a pair of Beacons. Drill trying to clear the zone. Broken up, and now with speed the other way is Wilbert. Wilbert holds off one player. Wilbert shot right into the arm there of Amelia St. Amant. Centering feed bounces around. Maggio for Shantz, who's already got a goal this year. Goes off the hip of Julianne Nelson, and again, it just feels like the Huskies have 6 skaters when they're in the defensive zone with how active they are in the shooting lanes.
I think we got a lot of confidence last night with how many shots from the point we've gotten through, but it's detrimental to take those shots that aren't there. It's not a bad thing to just put it in the corner.
Shantz nearly lost the puck, able to get back in time, and Maggio for Riefler. Riefler for Leffler, 3-on-3. Leffler trying to keep it alive for Riefler as the Beacons get a pair of new defensemen. Chance for Southern Maine to exit the zone, kept alive by Tretchell. She'll poke it back down low for Riefler. Battling with Southern Maine's Jordan Colbert. Puck comes out, and Butters can't get there. Now speed the other way, it's Stymius. Stymius with a couple Beacons getting back, very little behind the shot. Good little back check from Tretchell, who might have gotten just a bit to slow down that shot. Leffler trying to track down the opposing number 16, Colbert. Under a minute to go, just over 30 seconds to go in the period. Southern Maine gets the zone entry, but not much further as Snow lost the puck in the corners. Kept alive by Crowley. Gustafson a chance to clear the zone all the way around. Leffler is there. Puck loose right in front of the Beacons bench. They're going to say never came fully out of the zone, and it's picked up by Buddington with 10 seconds. Beacons just looking to kill these final 7 and head into the locker room tied at 0-0. And it looks like they'll do just that. A scoreless first period, but an exciting first period. Both teams with decent chances and really good defensive work from either side. Certainly seeing a different tactic from Southern Maine than we saw from Salem State yesterday. And probably some frustrated Beacons heading into the break.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty back and forth the whole time. Both teams have had a power play opportunity. I think the Beacons are doing a really good job cycling the puck down low. Most of their opportunities are coming from behind the net along the sideboards. They do need to be a little careful up top. Southern Maine's doing a great job defensively, blocking shots. I think both teams have some more to give next period.
For Southern Maine, A-plus effort defensively. Offensively, they haven't had as much zone time. Had a couple decent looks, forcing Victoria Kennedy into some saves. Do they need to maybe change things up or be more aggressive in the second period, looking for that goal on their side?
I think they need to continue the forecheck that they're doing, maybe just be a little bit more aggressive. They're doing a lot on the blue line, on their offensive blue line. Maybe just dump the puck in a couple more times rather than playing around with it. They'll create some more opportunities.
Well, let's take a look at last night's highlights. Quite a few more goals than we saw. 7-3 in favor of UMass Boston. 2 goals each from Katie Wilbert and Katie Leffler as the Beacons picked up 3 points against the Salem State Vikings.
Everybody notice this girl when she step up in a place where the air on fire.
After 20 minutes of play here in Boston, it's UMass Boston 0 and Southern Maine 0 on the Beacons Broadcast Network. No goals, and a large part of that is the block shots. We take a look at the statistics through the first period. Southern Maine outshot the Beacons 16-6 on the stat sheet, but that's because Southern Maine had 11 block shots in 20 minutes. So the Beacons attempted well over 6 shots. They just couldn't get them on frame, and that's the only shots that count. Shots that were off target, which the Beacons had quite a few as well, also do not count. Only 10 stoppages in the period. Southern Maine dominant, winning 8 of 10 faceoffs. Huskies went 0 for 2 on the power play, attempted 9 shots. The Beacons went 0 for 1 and only had 1 look on target because of a lot of block shots. Victoria Kennedy credited with 16 saves. Haley McKim with 6 saves on her side. No scoring summary to show you because, let's be honest, there were no goals. So let's take a look around Beaconville right now. 2 other games already have happened or going on. The women's basketball team, it was tight into the third quarter. but Eastern Connecticut State pulled away a 50-38 win over UMass Boston women's basketball, playing just their second game of 2022. The men's basketball team, very early, they trail by a point against Eastern Connecticut State in the first half. Men's hockey completes their weekend set. They are at Southern Maine today at 4 p.m., coming off a huge 5-4 win over the 5th-ranked Babson Beavers last night. Beacons got a goal from senior Chris Peters with 47.9 seconds to go in regulation to earn the 5-4 victory. Right now, let's take a look at highlights from the men's basketball team's midweek game. They were able to pull away for a 70-51 win over Southern Maine here in Boston.
By Dixon to get a hand on it. He now has it in the front court, leads to the hard. Finds a wide
20 minutes gone by in women's hockey, and it's Southern Maine Southern Maine and UMass Boston tied 0-0. Let's take a look around the rest of the New England Hockey Conference. Norwich, who had a big win over Castleton last night, they lead Plymouth State 4-0 in the third period. Johnson and Wales and Salem State, the travel partners of these two teams, play at 7 in conference play. And number 3, Elmira College takes on Nazareth College in non-conference play at 4 p.m. The Beacons will take on the Eagles next Friday night at 6 p.m. as we take a look ahead right now for UMass Boston. UMass Boston will take that long road trip. First Elmira and then William Smith College on Saturday at 4 p.m. before UMass Boston plays a home-and-home with Johnson and Wales the following weekend. Their home game on Friday at 6 p.m. and then the following day they'll be on the road at 4 at Johnson and Wales, Not a lot of highlights to dissect from those first 20 minutes, but we will bring you what we've got. Big part of the reason there weren't that many highlights was because of the amount of shots blocked by Southern Maine. A lot of the Beacons' best chances didn't actually get on target. So we start here. Corinne Tretchell up top for Gustafson. Gustafson right back, and you see Tretchell's shot. That one catches the skate of a player in front. Lots of Beacons traffic here on the power play. Good look from Buddington trying to find Burum. And then this is a decent look. Kennedy couldn't quite find it. A great job scooping up the loose puck by Kozik. This is the 2-on-1 by UMass Boston on the kill. Really good look from Kaylee Kozik. And the puck loose there for a bit. And Kozik gets a couple whacks at it, but unable to put one past McKim. And finally, a couple late stops from Victoria Kennedy, who had 16 saves in that first period. A great rush from Amelia St. Amant, who forces a pair of saves. And then later on, this was Snow losing the puck as she darted to the net. One last chance. It looks like Tretchell just barely gets a piece of the puck there, as Southern Maine had a mini breakaway chance. Still 7 minutes to go before the start of period number 2. We're going to send you to commercial break. Be back with just about a minute to go before the start of the second, as it's UMass Boston 0 and Southern Maine 0 on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
I'm Alexa Capion. I'm from Messina, New York. I'm a junior on the women's ice hockey team, and I'm an exercise health science major. But when I got here, I met Coach Harris, and I saw the facility, and I met a couple of the girls on the team, and I pretty much got a feel of the program, and I knew right away that this is where I wanted to go to school. We have all league games for the rest of the year, so that's going to be a huge test for us. We need those points to hopefully come out with a good standing for playoffs. A couple of highlights from the last couple of years I've been playing was probably last year when we won our first Codfish Bowl. We made history that year. I was really excited to be part of that. I don't have very many goals, but when I do score, it's definitely a big deal.
That's a goal.
For the past 3 years, we've had Emily. She is a member of the Team Impact program, and that's for children with illnesses that want to be part of a collegiate program. She's great. She comes and watches all of our games. She has her own jersey. She has her own stick. We've got her all this equipment. It's really awesome to have. She gives us a lot of motivation, and she comes in the locker room and talks to us before games, and it's really cool to have her here and be part of our team. When I graduate, I definitely want to go to graduate school, most likely for either athletic training or physical therapy. Our trainers here have definitely given me an insight about what it takes to be an athletic trainer. They're always on top of everything. They always know how to help us and what to do and what not to do. They're always there for us when we need them, and that's given me a lot of help with what I could be doing after I graduate, so that's nice to have them.
Psychology is about understanding the individual and understanding the mind and understanding how it affects others. The main reason why I want to combine psychology and business degrees is because I want to understand the business decisions that are made. I'm Nurçin Çelebi. I'm from Turkey originally. I'm a senior at the 5-year BA to MBA program at UMass Boston. Right now I'm doing an internship, so I will be starting to get experience in the field, and on top of that, getting an MBA and adding that business edge to my psychology degree. I think in management, the biggest mistake you can make is to not listen. So I want to be able to step into a company and say, here's what you're doing now, and here's how you can improve it in order to get the best out of your people, and in order to actually have people coming in here with passion. I moved here when I was 16 for high school. Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well, and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. It was really a blessing for me to come to UMass Boston because it helped me really grow and show me that I can do things on my own. I wanted to be able to improve myself. I wanted to be able to try new things. And I think UMass gave me a really good head start on that.
Remember, fans, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at UMass Beacons. We are about to get underway for the second period of play. We'll have highlights for you after the game of this one. The Beacons win. We'll have a winning Instagram as well. as the Beacons will go from right to left here in the period of the long change. Southern Maine from left to right. Another face-off win for the Huskies, Alexa. That's got to be a little bit of a talking point. Southern Maine winning 9 of the first 11 thus far.
Yeah, I mean that and the amount of block shots they have, I think they're just winning in stats here right now.
Kaylee Kozik forces the steal, but Brianna Doty able to take it right back as Kozik has that immense speed. Kennedy forced to make the glove save and will hold on the look from Allie Stymiest. And another save from Kennedy, who made 6 yesterday, 17 thus far. I know you weren't a goalie at any point, but in talking to some of the goalies you played with, is it easier to actually be facing consistent shots or a decent amount of shots versus what she had to do yesterday?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it keeps your confidence up, you're warm, you're staying hot. I think she's doing an awesome job here tonight.
Kennedy, who has taken over as the starting goalie after NEHC Goalie of the Year. Katie Flagg graduated in 2019-20, doing a tremendous job. The sophomore out of Winthrop, Massachusetts. You see Danielle Blanchard on the Beacons bench in her first season, 7-9. Took over 2 weeks before the season started. A tremendous player at SUNY Plattsburgh, in the top 10 all-time in points in Division III. And also was a longtime assistant at Plattsburgh before joining the Division I staff at Yale University 2 years ago. Behind the Beacons net, it's controlled by Corinne Tretchell. Around the boards for Franciscowicz. Franciscowicz trying to gain the red line. Couldn't quite get there as it was stripped, and Julianne Nelson will dump. The Beacons collect below their own net. Tretchell again has her pass knocked away. It's Georgie Snow out top for Kate Colvin. Tretchell with the chance to clear a third time. And a good reach from Colvin, the freshman out of Winchester, Mass, just outside the city of Boston. One of the many suburbs of the greater Boston area. Drop pass, shot, and a big save from Kennedy with traffic from Amanda Crowley in front. Not easy on that look from Madeline McLeese. The last thing you want to do is have a stick in front of your eyes just as the puck's getting there.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Huskies are doing a good job here getting all these shots off.
Forced 16 saves in the first period. They only had 3 of their shots blocked. The Beacons only credited with 6 shots on goal in the first, but 11 of their shots blocked by Huskies. In her own zone, it's Colvin off the boards for Doty. Huskies lose it. The Beacons trying to bring it back into the zone. Dump down the length of the ice. It'll be Gabby Shantz, the first one to it. Freshman of Reading, Vermont, did not play yesterday. Her first DNP of the season. 1 goal and 2 assists this season. Had her first collegiate goal in her home state. She scored in the Beacons' comeback 3-2 win over Castleton University. Below the goal line, it's Crowley. The far side, and Erin Tabor's shot goes wide of the net. Gustafson battling with the Husky. Coming over to get it is Leffler, and Gustafson clears the zone, but not much further. Good stick from Riefler, putting some pressure on the Huskies, and dumped right back in by Shannon Colbert. Thus far, the Beacons have really struggled to get anything going offensively. Haven't had more than maybe 5 to 10 seconds of zone time through the first 2:45. Gustafson battling with Colbert along the boards. Now it's Leffler, centering feed, slowed down and kept in the zone by Tabor. Leffler with a little bit of time and space. She gains the red line and will gain the zone, and the Beacons are offside as Riefler couldn't stay on for long enough, and we'll get a draw just outside the Beacon zone.
Beacons really can't get out of their own way right now. They've had a couple bobbles here on right inside their defensive zone. Try to get it into the offensive zone and offsides.
Top line comes out. Burum, Kozik, and Cramp along with Buddington and Drill. Burum wins it to the near side. Battle for the puck, and the Beacons collect in the neutral zone. Drill through the wickets of a Husky all the way through. McKim will slow it down, leaving it off for Doty. Bouncing puck gets past Drill. Burum comes over to cover for her and uses that long reach to knock it away from the Huskies. Puck is loose. Burum tangling with the Husky, and falling hard to the ice was Madison Shagnon, who's okay. Burum trying to play it off the boards for Kozik, stripped away by Shagnon. who's the big-time scorer for this Huskies team, and she absorbs a bit of a check there from Buddington, no call. Just out of the reach again of Burham as she had cramp on the outlet pass. Drill harder off the boards, playing it for Kozik, but these Husky sticks doing a great job of getting the passing lane now. Beacons aren't even getting enough time in the zone to potentially get a shot off. We've gone 4 minutes. UMass Boston struggling to get any kind of zone time. Jordan Colbert and Jane Ann Drill battling behind the net. Colbert to the net front, and she'll still control it. Colbert with options, dumps it down low. Burham holding off a Husky and Madeline McLeish. This top line has been on for a while for UMass Boston, ever since that face-off after the offside by UMass Boston trying to enter the zone. Keeping it in is Doty, dumping it down low. This group's got to be tired. Buddington finds Kozik. Kozik dangles around one player, gains the red line, over for Cramp. The Beacons will dump, and they're going to get 5 new skaters out there. A huge play by Kaylee Kozik to finally get it into the zone. Southern Maine lifts it out. What a pass that gets all the way out for Crowley, but it just fell a little bit short. Otherwise, she might have been in one-on-one with Kennedy, who makes a save from a shot from the red line there. Easy look for Kennedy. We've gone 5 minutes here in the second period. Bouncing puck. Franciscowicz couldn't keep it alive. Handled by Shannon Colbert, who will dump it in. Southern Maine had a player down below the goal line, and the Beacons will have a moment of respite as they look to get it out of the zone. Margot Butters, backhand feed, aiming for Franciscowicz, catches the jersey of a Husky, and Shannon Colbert into the zone. Collected by Crowley. Beacons try to clear the zone, and that was McDougal who couldn't get around a Husky. Far side, Tabor pushing it forward, and it's Julianne Nelson dumping it in. Alexa, has this been a change in what Southern Maine is doing, or is this just UMass Boston really making it harder on themselves?
I just see some exhaustion in their legs. I'm not really sure what's going on.
Kennedy able to make the save on Colbert. Now, yes, the Beacons are a little bit short on players. They don't have Kelsey Ryan, one of their top 6 forwards, out for the second straight game. They had 4 of their defensemen did not play yesterday. Or 4 of their defensemen played yesterday, and just 4. But it does seem like Southern Maine has quite a bit more left in the tank at this point. I think the Beacons can grow into this period. They were much more even in the first. We've gone 6.5 minutes without a Beacon shot. Here's a good steal. Gustafson has options to her left or her right. Gustafson to the backhand. Big save from McKim, and she holds on. And it's one of those moments where just like that, it could have been a 1-0 game.
Right, I mean, that was a good opportunity for the Beacons to have there. I do think we might see some more energy from that now that they had that opportunity. But I think the energy that Southern Maine has been consistent throughout this whole game.
Beacon's third line, I would say, has been their best thus far. The combination of Riefler, Leffler, and Gustafson. And Leffler wins the faceoff clean. Buddington will chip it back in. Not that the Beacons had a ton of good chances, but it seems like this group has had the most efforts. Here's Leffler's shot from the circle. Save, and Riefler comes up with the loose puck. Riefler for Leffler trying to get it right back to her. Instead holds on to it. Gustafson in the circle. 2 players around her. Dishes it off for Riefler, trying to evade the pressure from St. Amant. Riefler able to keep it alive for long enough. Puck loose on the far side, and a good pinch from Buddington. For Riefler, shot, score for the second consecutive day. Allie Riefler has scored, and just like that, the Beacons do have a 1-0 lead.
Exactly like you just said, Seth. The third line on this Beacons team has been the most consistent line today.
Allie Riefler had not scored in her first 14 games, and now she's got, first 12 games, now she's got 2 goals in her last 2. Had a goal and an assist last night, and what a huge momentum shift. We talked about maybe some of those players getting that first goal or the first goal in a while, getting confidence. Well, Riefler looks like a player who's got a lot of confidence.
Absolutely. Once you get that first collegiate goal, the rest just keep coming. You can tell she's gained confidence today. She keeps taking those good shots, and it paid off just now.
What a huge boost for Danielle Blanchard's side. Did not have a shot in the first 6.5 minutes. Get the first look from Gustafson. That group stays out, gets a goal, and we'll bring you a highlight of that at the next whistle as Allie Riefler, the freshman out of Binghamton, New York, picks up the goal. And what a huge boost for UMass Boston. It felt like everything was going against them. They were getting really outplayed to start this period. I mean, it doesn't matter what the shots look like if you're able to get that goal.
Yeah, they had that good opportunity, and as I said, I think this is going to bring them more energy, and next shift they score a goal.
Remember, the first time these two teams played, this game ended up a 1-0 game. It was Southern Maine with the win. A goal on the power play, 16:31 into the second. Still a ton of time left, but with these two goalies, two of the top goalies in the NEHC, this game very much could end up a 1-0, 1-1, even 2-1 hockey game. So huge to get the first one. Against the second best defense in the entire NEHC. Shot from distance, Kennedy an easy save. And the one thing you can say about this Beacons defense is very little traffic in front of Victoria Kennedy in the majority of these saves.
Yeah, I would say that's the one thing I've noticed the difference from last night.
Chance in tight and a second look, and then Kennedy's pushed down. No call coming, but Katie Wilbert was not happy with Allie Stymius, who came in and pushed her goalie. That's actually Julianne Nelson, 9, not 19. But that was a rare chance. That puck came up and hit a Beacon on the bench. I think that was Buddington, but the referees say play on. 1-0 UMass Boston on Allie Riefler's second goal in as many days. After Southern Maine had absolutely dominated possession and the chances here to start the second period. Shot goes wide, whipped wide by Madison Shagnon. Scored the game winner last night for Southern Maine against Johnson & Wales. Her fourth power play goal of the year and third game winner. Her team leading 8th goal of the season. Chance from distance, and it gets all the way through. Amelia St. Amant, her first collegiate goal, and it's 1-1. And just like yesterday, a lot of traffic in front. Looked like Kennedy reacted a little bit late, and we're tied at 1.
Yeah, I don't think Kennedy saw that at all. Like you said, there was a ton of traffic in front, both Beacons and Huskies. There's no way she could have saw that shot.
So St. Amant, the freshman at Cornwall, Ontario, who had 3 assists in her first 16 games, picks up her first collegiate goal. And after the Beacons got one probably about 3 minutes ago, Southern Maine answers back. We'll bring you highlights first of the goal from Riefler, and then at the next whistle, we'll bring you that Amelia St. Amant goal. And first, we're going to get a penalty. It's going to be Margot Butters, it looks like with a slash. And that's the last thing you want to do. We always talk about up here in the booth the importance of the shift after, and well, the Beacons maybe digging themselves a bigger hole as Margot Butters will head to the penalty box, the third penalty of the day against UMass Boston.
Yeah, they've been in the penalty box a lot this weekend, just like last night. Penalty after the shift after a goal. Salem State was able to pot one, so we're hoping that doesn't happen today.
Shannon Colbert for Jordan Colbert, whose pass goes right back. Beacons getting in some passing and shooting lanes here to start this penalty kill. Good pressure from Liz Cramp, who scored shorthanded yesterday. That's got to be an interference call, and it's going to be. What a play by Liz Cramp.
That was an incredible back check there.
Brianna Doty had no chance against the speed. She used the body, and that Beacons penalty kill took all of 17 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how we expected this game to go. Back and forth with goals, back and forth with penalties.
What a boost if you're UMass Boston. You commit a penalty you really don't want to take. To cut the deficit to just 17 seconds, that's huge. And now the Beacons got some pretty good skaters 4-on-4, as we'll see a little bit more open ice for players like Leffler, Kozik, Buddington, and Tretchell. This is a really good group of 4 who can all skate with the puck, shoot it a little bit, see if the Beacons can get some pressure here on Southern Maine. Puck is poked down the length of the ice for Kennedy. She's going to cover here. You don't love that, but a little bit of pressure coming from Shannon Colbert, and she wasn't taking any chances.
Yeah, she didn't have much choice there.
So the puck goes from in the Huskies' end to the Beacons' end. Now, because Southern Maine's penalty got cut short, the Beacons, when they do get a man advantage, it's going to be a very short one, just 17 plus seconds. Buddington leaves it for Tretchell. Both of those defensemen with 2 points yesterday. Leffler ahead for Kozik. Kozik into the zone. Kozik's shot. McKim the save, and she's going to paddle it away. Seems like Haley McKim does not want to take a lot of faceoffs in her zone. She's really active with the stick. Leffler battling with Nelson, gets some help from Tretchell, and it's Kozik who's able to dart around a Husky. Kozik trying to slow it down. Good stick work from Colvin. Pushed around the boards. Kozik with it. Kaylee Kozik still with it. What a roof! Kaylee Kozik dangling her way to the goal mouth, and then a great shot to make it 2-1 Beacons.
She had every opportunity to just walk in and take that shot with the puck, and she absolutely nailed it. 4-on-4 is not something you practice too often, but the Beacons just excelled at that one.
Her 5th goal of the season, and there was a little window, you could see it, and just an absolute snipe. Still 4-on-4 for another 36 seconds, and the Beacons are going to get a power play advantage. This is a masterclass in what you don't want to do, followed by exactly what you do want to do. The Beacons give up a penalty after giving up a goal. They get a penalty against the Huskies, and then they get a 4-on-4 goal. The momentum shifts in this second period have been wild. 20 seconds left on the initial penalty to Butters, and then the Beacons will be on the power play for 17 seconds as Tretchell right off the bench able to potentially steal it, and does so. Tretchell shot in and out of the glove of McKim as we're down to 5 seconds. If the Beacons can keep it in here, they'll actually have a bit of a power play. Liz Cramp from the top of the slot. McKim will hold on, and that's a gift for the Beacons. They'll have an offensive zone draw and an extra player for 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, 15 seconds, try to set something up here, win this face-off, take advantage of the open ice around the outside, and work it into the middle.
And with the period of the long change, it's going to take that player for Southern Maine a little bit longer to get into the zone.
For sure.
So it almost might be 17 or 18 seconds a man up if the Beacons can win the face-off. They do not. Puck comes all the way around the boards, and it's picked up by Shantz. Shantz far side for Buddington with 6 seconds. Buddington gets a shot off. That actually is saved by McKim. Down to 1 second. The Huskies get a player out. Now she races to the zone. All alone up top is Shantz through traffic, puck loose, and it skitters wide. So the Beacons get 2 looks off. I think McKim made 1 save. But with 8 minutes to go in this second period, the Beacons lead it 2-1 despite having a really slow start to the second. Southern Maine trying to get a goal right back, tipped high and wide by Amanda Crowley. And the Beacons are going back on the power play. A Beacon down below the goal, and that was a heavy hit. Not quite sure which Beacon is down, but UMass Boston will get their 3rd power play. It was Katie Wilbert who absorbed the contact, and it'll be Amanda Crowley going to the box for at least 2 minutes. Cross-checking call will go against Crowley. Wilbert able to skate off. Katie is absolutely fearless and goes to the bench. She'll be attended to by the Beacons trainer, but this is almost a gamely occurrence where Wilbert willing to play a lot of time right in front of the net or behind the net. A little bit of a smaller player, but extremely tough.
She is tough. I guarantee you we'll see her out here next shift.
Tretchell back and forth with Butters, out there with Cramp, Gustafson, and Riefler. Back up top, Tretchell shot loose. A lot of traffic in front, and the rebound finally cleared down the length of the ice. Interesting that Danielle Blanchard going with the second unit. A lot of confidence in a lot of her newcomers. We've got a whistle, and there's a loose stick. That's Liz Cramp, and I think we're going to see a 5-on-3, and we will. It's going to be a second penalty Amelia St. Amant, the Southern Maine goal scorer, to the box. And this should be a 5-on-3 for 1:30 for UMass Boston.
Wow, I didn't even see that one.
I didn't see the initial play by St. Amant, but a Beacon, there was a stick all alone in center ice, and they blew a whistle and there was no offside. So 5-on-3 opportunity, and what a chance this is for the Beacons to potentially put this game out of reach. Buddington shot, tip, puck loose, and McKim able to find that puck through traffic. That puck was sitting in a really exciting spot if you're a Beacons fan.
Yeah, I think the Beacons really need to slow it down, take their time, take advantage of moving the puck. In a 5-on-3, you really want to get the Huskies out of position here.
This is the top unit. Kozik, who scored the 4-on-4 go-ahead goal. Burum, Leffler, Drill, and Buddington. 4 returners, and the Beacons don't have all that many on the roster, along with a senior transfer who is in her first season of college hockey, but a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, in Rachel Burum. Drill playing catch with Buddington. Buddington back for Drill, slap shot, slowed down by the skates of Jordan Colbert. Again, Southern made a great shot blocking team. Buddington able to get to the loose puck. Southern Maine a little bit out of position, all the way to the far side for Drill. Back for Buddington, one-timer, easy kick save for Haley McKim. Still 52 seconds of 5-on-3 action. Buddington back for Kozik, back for Buddington. Puck gets knocked down on the pass, and Kozik will pick it back up with 40 seconds. Kozik whistling the one-timer. Leffler able to corral it. Leffler has the hot hand. 2 goals yesterday, forces the save from McKim. Doty trying to pin that puck along the boards behind the net. Burum, Kozik, and now Leffler there with Jordan Colbert trying to help out. Down to 20 seconds, the attempted clearance from Colbert. It's kept in the zone by Buddington. Drill, one-timer, what a shot, and McKim the save. Shannon Colbert nearly got there. 10 seconds on the 5-on-3. Drill wants it again, couldn't hold on. Kozik the quick shot, and McKim able to cut down on the angle as she came well out of her net.
Huskies just doing an incredible job on the PK here. I mean, they kept it along the boards for a good 15 seconds to kill some of that time off.
6 seconds on the 5-on-3, 36 on the second penalty. So even if these final 6 tick off, the Beacons will still have a 5-on-4. Huskies 3 penalty killers doing a great job, but McKim made a couple of huge saves.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Gustafson in the second unit out there. She wins the draw. Butters over for Gustafson. Her one-timer up into the netting. And this one, see if it's tipped or not. It's going to be 5-on-4 now. So the Huskies kill off the 5-on-3. 30 seconds exactly to go on the penalty to St. Amant. It will stay in the zone. And now they're going to bring it out. Now, I didn't think there was a tip on that shot from Anna Gustafson. So Gustafson, Riefler, Cramp, Tretchell, and Butters as the Beacons look to pick up a 3rd goal this period. Scoreless after 1. Southern Maine dominated the first 5 minutes of the period before the Beacons got a shot and then scored on the shift after from Allie Riefler. Southern Maine almost immediately responded from Amelia St. Amant. And then the teams went 4-on-4, and it was Kaylee Kozik scoring a beautiful goal that she was able to put in just underneath the bar. Beacons on a 5-on-3 chance, unable to score thus far, and now we're back to 5-on-5, and it feels like the Huskies might now have a little bit of momentum. Still 5 minutes to go in the period. Gustafson trying to feed Cramp. Poked right back in by Peyton Dukas. All the way around the board, just out of the reach of Riefler. It did come out, though, and we'll see an offside and a face-off just outside the Beacon zone.
The Huskies come out flying after that PK. They know they wasted a lot of time on the defensive zone. They're not going to waste any more this period.
Well, they hope not to. Just kidding. 4:50 to go in the second period. 3 goals between the two sides. 2 of the better goalies in the NEHC, 2 of the better defensive teams. Along the far boards. It's handled and pushed around, collected there by Kate Colvin. Tapped around just out of the reach of McDougall. Almost getting there is Wilbert, and immediately diving as she tried to tip that one through McKim. Good to see Katie Wilbert back on after she was the one who drew the first of those 2 penalties on Southern Maine. Both of these teams have had 5-on-3 opportunities. Neither has been able to score on the power play today. I think it's Southern Maine 0 for 3, the Beacons 0 for 4. Burum wins the face-off clean. Buddington, a dangerous pass, trying to push it across for Shantz, and it was nearly stolen away there on a possible breakaway by Madeline McLeish. Beacons have definitely been better on the face-offs here in the second period, but they haven't been able to generate a lot of chances right off the draw. Buddington surveying her options, floats that one down the length of the ice. This should be an icing, and it will be. 3:57 to go in the second period. Both of these teams in the second day of a back-to-back. Both teams a bit short-handed. Southern Maine with just 9 forwards and 5 defensemen. The Beacons with 11 forwards and 60 today after playing with just 40 yesterday. As Kennedy makes the save right off the face-off, and we'll do it all over again. And the Beacons are going to get 5 new skaters. It'll be Leffler in the draw against Shannon Colbert. Beacon's third line against Southern Maine's first. Bouncing around and giving chase here is Stymiest. Has it poked loose by Drill. Drill along the board. Shot from distance. Tipped wide off the initial look from Aaron Tabor. Gustafson pushes it up and finds Riefler. Already with 1 goal today. Riefler's shot might have caught a piece there of Tabor, but another good look from Allie Riefler. Puck bounces through. That was Leffler who lost the stick. We've got a whistle. And looks like the faceoff's going to stay in the zone. Not quite sure what they called there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Might have bounced up and caught someone on the Beacons bench. One of the few things it could have been is Cramp can't get all the way through. Puck comes out of the zone as Buddington couldn't quite collect it as she pinched forward. Nelson getting bullied by a pair of Beacons along the boards. Nelson keeping it alive, getting help there from Shagnon, and Shagnon a attempted cross-ice pass for Peyton Dukas that was broken up. Burham bum rushes through Jordan Colbert. The far side where it'll be Burham and Colbert again battling, and eventually comes out to center ice where it's picked up by Buddington for Butters, and she'll flip it all the way into the zone where it's slowed by Doty. 2:43 to go in what's been a very entertaining second period. 2 goals from UMass Boston, 1 for Southern Maine. We've got a Beacons offside call, and the face-off will come just outside the zone with both teams making some changes.
Yeah, I think the Huskies will try to get one here, go into the intermission tied, come back out hot.
Well, the Beacons are 0-5-1 in their last 6 against Southern Maine. They have not scored more than 2 goals in any of those games. Got 2 thus far. Feels like this next goal is going to be huge either way. If the Beacons can get a 3rd one against Southern Maine, you'd feel pretty confident you're at least going to come away with the point from getting to overtime, if not a lot more. Remember, the NEHC changing the way the standings work this year. 3 points for a regulation win, 2 for an overtime win, 1 for an overtime loss or tie, and 0 if you just lose in regulation. It's never going to be rewarded. Gustafson out top, kept alive. Smart move there by Shantz. Leffler and Wilbert out there together with Gustafson. So no Riefler right now, but she had spent a lot of time on the previous shift. So not necessarily a line change late here in the second period. Bouncing puck picked up by Tabor. Tabor will go the other way with it. 2 minutes to go. Good forecheck here from Wilbert. Keeping it in there is Shantz. Another smart move from Shantz, who didn't play last night. She's not looking to get shots on McKim here. She's just looking to keep the puck in the zone and give these forecheckers a chance. Here's a chance. Burum able to strip a Husky behind the net to the goal mouth, and she scores an unassisted goal.
I don't think any of us saw that coming. I mean, she literally took the puck right away, came around, shot it. Goal for the Beacons.
The third goal for Burum in her last 3 home games, the third collegiate goal for the senior out of Marshfield. And that's got to feel really bad if you're Southern Maine. The Beacons just showing a little bit more energy against the Huskies team, who's had more energy at least to begin this second period, and they're not done. Here comes Kozik. Kozik around the defenseman. Kozik to the front, backside, and Cramp had a great chance but was pushed down. Easily could have been 4-1 right there. So Burum strips the Husky, takes it to the goal mouth, and what a turn of events. This game felt like it was all Huskies for the first 5 minutes of the period, and now it's the Beacons with a 2-goal advantage with a minute to go, and it could be more. This top line has already created 1 chance, as this will come wide of Kennedy. What a difference the first 5 and the last 5 minutes of this period have been. Poked ahead, it's Leffler now, as losing an edge there for a moment was Amelia St. Amant. Down below, it's Leffler, still with 35, able to keep it alive for Drill. Her shot catches the hip of Peyton Dukas. Wilbert and the Beacons sensing blood in the water, trying to come up with a 4th goal here with under 30 seconds to go in the second period. Leffler for Drill, through the legs there of Shantz. Shantz does a good job of slowing down Shagnon, who's able to push it across for Dukas. Still 9 seconds left. Can the Huskies get a shot off? Puck goes well wide of Kennedy to the far side with 3. Battling is Shantz, and that will do it. Alexa, I think if I had asked you 5 minutes into the period whether you thought the Beacons could get a goal, much less 3 goals, you would have been surprised. What changed between the first 5 minutes of this period and the last 15, where the Beacons seemed to really take this game by the horns and gain control?
I think Southern Maine started off the period with most control in their offensive zone. UMass Boston had a good opportunity. They didn't put it home, but the next shift, I said, they're going to come out with energy now after just having a good shift, and that's exactly the turning point for this period.
Was it just a matter of energy, or did you see anything different from UMass Boston in terms of what they were doing offensively and maybe the kinds of looks they were putting on McKibb?
I think you said it best when that 3rd goal was just scored. They took their time. The defense weren't forcing pucks through to shots that weren't there. They were just putting it into the zone, making smarter plays, not trying to force anything, and that's where the energy came from.
Well, what a difference 20 minutes makes. 0-0 after 1, 3-1 after 2. UMass Boston in a good spot to move into 3rd place in the conference, but they've got to finish it off. 20 minutes left. Don't go anywhere, folks. While we've got you, let's take a moment to play you some highlights from last weekend's men's hockey game. A tough 2-1 setback for the men's hockey team to number 1 Norwich. Then again, they responded yesterday, a 5-4 victory over rivals number 5 Babson. Seems like every game on the men's side this year is against a nationally ranked opponent, as the NEHC has 5 ranked teams on the men's side this year, 2 on the women's, which is also very strong. Boston, the shot
shot one back. Prior to the midway point of the second, Spencer Gable, low shot. Keegan can't keep it in now. Keegan Cadillac. O'Neal, shot save. That is much prior to the scoring to you. Nicky stop and Peter. Here's a pick. Right, Nicky back in. Both teams switch out there for a second power play unit for Norwich. Becker stop from Nicky. Matthews leaves it for Clinton. Clinton backside Peters. And it's stopped on the shoulder. Bailey bounced up on it. 10 seconds in. Denied. And at least one and two is overtime. Norwich already has to go by game. And Walker. Walker far side looking for Matthews.
Welcome back to the Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. 9 minutes to go before the start of the second period. Lots of goals to go through in that second period. Allie Riefler opened the scoring with the Beacon's second shot of the period, scoring her second goal in as many days, her second collegiate goal at 7:22. Amelia St. Amant tied it at 9:17, so 2 goals in the span of 2 minutes. And then the Beacons tied it took the lead less than 2 minutes later. A 4-on-4 goal from Kaylee Kozik. And finally, Rachel Burum, an unassisted goal, stripped a Husky behind the net, and then a wraparound. Haley McKim had no idea the puck was coming to the front of the net. And that's the scoring summary from that second period of play. As we take a look at the statistics through 2 periods, it was Southern Maine outshooting the Beacons 16-6 in the first period. Beacons outshot the Huskies 19-9 in the second, and were tied at 25 shots apiece. Southern Maine, 11 block shots in the first, just 4 in the second. So the Beacons have had a big shot advantage throughout this game. Beacons also had the big advantage in the face-off dot in that second period. 19 face-off wins for UMass Boston compared to just 8 for Southern Maine in the second period. So a lot of things going the Beacons' way. Neither side has been successful on the man advantage, although the Beacons do have a 4-on-4 goal, so not quite a special teams goal, but it's something. As we move along and take a look around the rest of Beaconville right now, 3 other games going on today. Women's basketball suffered a 50-38 setback against Eastern Connecticut State. The men's basketball team down by 10 in the second half against EastCon as well. Men's hockey team tied at 0 through a period against the University of Southern Maine. Well, maybe not quite a period. Oh, as they've got 60 seconds to go in the first period up at the USM Ice Arena. In the rest of NEHC play, 2 games currently going on. Actually, we've got one final. It was number 9 Norwich with a 6-0 victory over Plymouth State University. Johnston Wales and Salem State, the other conference game today at 7. Elmira versus Nazareth. That game just underway up at Nazareth. I believe the score is still 0-0 between those 2 nationally ranked sides. We've got one more set of highlights for you before we get the highlights from this one. It's the women's basketball highlights from their first home game of 2022, a 76-62 win over Plymouth State 2 weekends ago. Those are the highlights from women's basketball's first game of 2022. Suffered a setback today. Let's take a quick look at the highlights from this second period. Ton to go through, and it's going to start with this Beacons first chance of the period. This was after 5 minutes of Southern Maine dominating zone possession. Good save from McKim, but that seemed to give the Beacons all the momentum, and immediately a goal from Allie Riefler. The next, this is literally off the faceoff. So
just an incredible shot there.
And you can see the confidence coming from her, and things were going well for the Beacons. Victoria Kennedy making some big saves. But Southern Maine responds less than 2 minutes later. This is a really nice goal from Amelia St. Amant. And again, traffic in front. This is the third goal in the past 2 days where I don't think a Beacons goalie saw the puck until it was way too late, if at all. But Kaylee Kozik able to respond, and that's about as good of a goal as you're going to see in terms of an individual effort. Tremendous hands late here. Here's some big saves from McKim, and you're going to see a couple more chances. This is the 5-on-3. Jane Ann Drill really teed up a few shots. This was a good look from Kozik backdoor for Cramp that easily could have made it 4-1. And this same shift, the Beacons did make it 4-1. Not quite sure what's going on with our replay because it was Rachel Burum who scored moments later. And this is a play where, Alexa, you were a former collegiate defenseman. Can you break it down as having a bit of a technical difficulty? What happens here with this defenseman?
That's a play where you got to turn towards the boards there. You can't turn out. You're exposing your puck right to the player right there.
Well, we've got 20 minutes up on the clock. I'm not quite sure which defenseman. It might have been Doty. It might have been St. Amant. It might have been Colbert. One of the players with the 1 at the beginning of their jersey number. But huge break for the Beacons. They carry the momentum over. We saw the difference between UMass Boston yesterday between periods 2 and 3. If you're Southern Maine and head coach John Lozier, what's the message to your team after you really struggled in that second period after such a strong start?
Yeah, I mean, it just takes one. They just need to come out flying. It takes one to start it. They came back earlier in the period, or earlier in the game. It only takes one to get there.
Yeah, Southern Maine dominates the first 5 minutes, but in the end, they get dominated in shots and faceoffs. Kozik one-on-one and gets it through the 5-hole and just underneath the stick of Doty. Kozik's second of the day, and it's 4-1 UMass Boston. You say it just takes one. That's the one the wrong way if you're a Southern Maine fan.
Absolutely. The defense, the Husky defense played a great 2-on-1 there. Kaylee Kozik just took advantage. She had that shot and she took it.
Kozik's 6th goal on the season. She's up to 14 points on the year, behind only Katie Leffler on the Beacons. And that's the second time where Kozik's been able to go in one-on-one with McKim. And while McKim's one of the best goalies in the conference, Kozik's got some of the best hands in the conference.
Absolutely. You do not want Kaylee Kozik alone in front of your goalie.
Great chance the other way, and Kennedy able to dive on top of the puck as Peyton Dukas was slowed down a bit by a pair of Beacons. So let's take a look at that goal when we get a chance, as Allie Crawford, our director and instant replay operator, is working hard to get you the highlight from that goal. Just 30 seconds in to this third period. This game felt like it had all the makings of a 1-0, 1-1 game. And UMass Boston, for the second straight day, has exploded offensively. 7 yesterday, 4 today against a defense that allows just 2.1 goals per game. And this is huge as that puck bounces through the defenseman, St. Amant, and a chance to at least get it into the zone here by Wilbert. The other nice thing, Alexa, is we saw Wilbert and Leffler get 2 yesterday. Today it's been Kozik with 2, Burum, who didn't get any points yesterday, with the goal, and Riefler picking up her second as the Beacons are down a player here. Didn't see the penalty on Corinne Tretchell, but a power play opportunity for the Huskies, and a big one as they trail by 3. It's nice to get that balanced goal scoring as the Beacons haven't had to rely on 1 or 2 players to put up 11 goals over the past 2 days.
Absolutely. I think the one thing we've consistently said across these 2 games is the consistency in these lines for the Beacons.
So a chance for Southern Maine, a big one, as they head back on the power play for the 4th time. 0 for 3 thus far. absolutely need a goal to get back in this one, down by 3. Kozik breaks it up, sitting on a pair of goals, 4v4, and then early on here in the third period, as Maggio does a good job getting in front there of Shannon Douglas. And the Beacons will clear it back into the Huskies' end. So it'd be a huge 6-point weekend for UMass Boston. Already secured the win over Salem State last night, trying to secure a season split with a Southern Maine team that has had their number over the past 2+ seasons. Ended their year in 2019-20 in the longest game in program history, 106+ minutes in that 2019-20 NEHC quarterfinal. Bringing it into the zone, trying to set up is St. Amand, who has the lone goal today for the Huskies. And that will do it for the power play. Southern Maine got virtually nothing on Kennedy, forced to stop that shot from distance. That was a really easy penalty kill. So we'll take a look at the goal from Kozik right now. Really nice job on the reach there from what looks like drill. And then this is just too easy for Kaylee Kozik.
Yeah, it seems like the defense just snuck right to one side to pick up that pass that potentially could have happened, but Kaylee Kozik took advantage and took that shot.
And it looks like Kozik was just waiting for McKim to make the first move as that pass from Leffler out of the reach of Gustafson, and McKim comes well out. I mean, in that cat and mouse game, it's just kind of who's going to blink first, right?
Absolutely.
Riefler off the boards, aiming for Gustafson, who continues to battle and then bundles right over the defenseman Tabor. Handling it is Crowley, pushing it forward for McLeish. Butters breaks it up, but can't get it out of the zone. Back for McLeish. Below the goal line, it's Leffler, who doesn't have a goal today, but she has at least 2 assists. She continues her red-hot stretch. She's now got 3 goals and 7 assists in her last 4 games. Only has 17 points this year, but she's got 10 of them in the last 4, and we've got an icing and a stoppage with 16:10 to go in period number 3. And at this point, as long as you can keep Southern Maine from getting the momentum, getting 2 quick goals, Beacons have to be feeling pretty good with where they stand, not only in this game, but in the conference standings. Southern Maine off the one face-off wraparound chance, and Kennedy holds strong, and then a lot of pushing and shoving, and that's got to be a penalty. I don't know what caused that from Stymius, but a 2-hand shove to the face of Kennedy, and that's not allowed in any game of hockey, and that's going to be hitting after the whistle, roughing, maybe even more. That was as blatant as it got, and it doesn't really matter what the goalie is doing in that instance. You can't hit the goalie in the face. Liz Cramp looks like she's going to go to the box, and I'm more interested to see what Stymius is going to get, because that could be a lot more than just a minor. Freshman out of Moncton, New Brunswick. Right now she's being escorted to the box, and it looks like she's going to stay in this game.
I'm a little surprised by that. I mean, it's all the more worse when it's against the goalie, too.
And this is a really interesting conversation. I think you're probably going to get matching penalties for roughing or hitting out to the whistle, but there was something going on between Cramp and likely Stymius. I don't know what Kennedy did. She might not be totally innocent in this situation, but hitting the goalie in the face after the whistle, that blatant, I think we haven't seen the referees put anything up on the board. I think the Beacons could be sitting on a power play here, maybe even a bit more.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm Danielle Blanchard, too. I'm not saying much to Cramp over there after defending your goalie like that.
Yeah, let's see if we can get any kind of replay. I mean, it was very obvious from up here. Is now the referees, it's going to be Jay Leach and the linesman Danica Korpaz, who are going to talk to our scorekeepers. Right now, let's take a look at the aftermath of this, as a lot of players ended up in the net. It's a wraparound chance. Kennedy makes the save, and then you're looking for 19-3 Stymius. So Kennedy goes down, And then you see the blow to the face there, very blatant. As the referees right now are talking to John Lozier, and then they'll come over and talk to Danielle Blanchard, you'd assume. It's a 5-minute major on right now on the Beacon side. That could be incorrect. Now they're going to put 5 on both sides. I don't know what Liz Cramp did. And now they're going to, it looks like Liz Cramp is being sent to the locker room. So Cramp's day might be done. But if Cramp's day is done, how do you not toss Stymiest at the same time?
Absolutely.
We don't have the best camera angles. I'll be the first one. And here goes Stymiest. So if you're going to toss one, you got to toss the other. And we don't know what Liz Cramp did. She certainly could have been doing something during that goal mouth scramble, but both players are gone. And you can see Cramp came, I think it was Cramp who came over to protect her goalie.
I think Cramp did get a couple punches in there as well.
So both players go. Cramp's going to go back to the locker room as Stymiest is going to follow her. And that's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to go back to the locker room, but you don't want those two players interacting anymore. And there's a 5-minute major up on the board for either side.
Yep, someone's going to have to serve those.
Right now, Jessica Lapopolo, who's one of the Beacon's 2 fourth liners who we haven't seen much of today, is in the box for the Beacons. There's got to be someone for Southern Maine who, remember, only has 9 forwards available to begin with, plus the 5D. So they're shorthanded, even more so than the Beacons. And what a weird sequence of events we've seen here in the third period. Last thing you want if you're Southern Maine is, with their a little bit of tired legs, to be skating without one of their 14 skaters for 5 minutes. And it, honestly, there's none of these 9 forwards, I would say, who hasn't had an impact for Southern Maine. It looks like it's going to be Madeline McLeish, the top line right winger, who's going to serve the 5-minute penalty for Southern Maine. Jessica Lapopolo for UMass Boston. It's going to be 4-on-4 for 5 minutes. And this is fascinating because I think you could see a goal either way here, maybe even one for both sides. With the talent of the forwards here, the Beacons already scored 4-on-4. It was Kaylee Kozik from Katie Leffler, and Kozik, sitting on a hat trick bid, is out there with Leffler, Drill, and coming on now is Shantz. So pushing and shoving, maybe even some punches thrown between Cramp and Stymiest. And also, didn't even factor this in, Alexa, Southern Maine loses 2 of their 9 forwards for 5 minutes. They lose Stymiest for the entire rest of the game. They lose McLeish for the next 5 minutes. You've got 7 forwards over the next 4. Now, you're only playing 2 forwards during a 4-on-4, but it's going to be some tired legs for this Huskies bunch.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them to come back 4-1 right now, too.
Still 15-15 to go in the game, 4:10 to go in the period. The Beacons lose Liz Cramp, who's a top-line player, one of their best forwards. But UMass Boston has the advantage of having 2 extra forwards today. They've got 11 of the normal allotment of 12. And the impetus is on Southern Maine to create something, as that shot from distance from Shagnon is easily saved. Beacons can just use this 5 minutes as a little bit of a safety valve to kill some clock if they want to. I don't think that's what Danielle Blanchard's side will do. It's Crowley trying to dart through a pair of Beacons. Good stick work from Tretchell to slow her down. Crowley gets it back, shoots it through traffic, and that was a toe save from Victoria Kennedy. Up top, Doty's shot, making the save is Kennedy and holding on. And to start, it's been a nice response from Southern Maine. A couple good looks here in the opening minute 37 of this 5-on-5.
Yeah, a couple of good shots there. 4-on-4 is not something that you practice often. Maybe 1, 2, 3 times throughout the whole season. Got to take advantage of the open ice, make the long passes.
Battling is Crowley, and she loses the puck. Here comes Kozik out there with Burum, Drill, and Buddington. Kozik still fighting for it against Colvin. Looked like she might have been dragged down a bit. No call coming. Burum doing a good job of keeping it alive, and it's Kozik out top for Drill. Drill right back for Kozik. Kozik will find Drill, and Drill shot gets knocked down. Burum, the turnaround, looking for her second, and an easy save for McKim. 13:56 to go in regulation, 2:53 on the 5-minute matching majors to Cramp and Stymiest. Colbert battling with Leffler, who loses an edge, but is able to keep it alive. Tabor comes over, can't come up with a loose puck. St. Amant, who has the lone goal today for Southern Maine, her first collegiate tally. Beacons with 2 from Kozik, 1 from Riefler, and 1 from Burum. Look from distance, that's Buddington, and holding on to the save is McKim, who was noticeably frustrated after the end of that second period, especially that late goal in which she had no idea the puck was coming to the goal mouth. So we're over halfway through this 5-minute major. 13:25 to go in regulation, 2:22 to go on the 5-minute major matching penalties. Collected here by Tretchell, whose attempted shot gets knocked down, and now a chance to break out with Nelson. Nelson battling Tretchell, and it's got to be a really nice tool if you're Corinne Tretchell to just have that immense speed where even if she loses the puck, she's able to get back almost instantaneously.
Oh, absolutely. She's very good at coming from behind and picking up the stick and taking the puck right away.
Member of the UMass Boston outdoor track and field team. She and Katie Wilbur both competed last spring. Below the goal mouth, it's Kozik trying to find a teammate. Kozik still battling with it. Kaylee out of Wexford, Pennsylvania, has scored 12 or more points every season for the Beacons. She's got 1 year of eligibility left. Actually, she could have 2 if she really wants them, the way that the NCAA is giving years of extra eligibility because of this COVID-19 pandemic, and why not? Nothing has been normal for these student athletes since March of 2020. Puck bounced loose. Colbert has it poked away. Really good stick work there from Shantz to tip it at the last moment as we're into the final 70 seconds of the 5-minute major. Neither side has been able to add any additional goals. Butters with a minute to go on the major and 12 minutes to go in regulation. Easily cycles it through for Wilbert. All the way around. Kept in the zone. D-to-D pass, turnaround shot from St. Amant, whistles wide where it's picked up by Shannon Colbert. Pass gets past St. Amant. Wilbert will give chase. McKim makes the smart move coming out, and she'll cycle it around the boards. The 30 seconds to go in the period. 30 seconds in the penalty, 11:30 to go in the period. As Wilbert takes a tumble, and now we'll get right back out. Jane Ann Drill trying to get through traffic, and Drill will dump it in with 10 seconds left on the 5-minute major. And Alexa, with the game situation the way it is, this feels like a major win for UMass Boston. Just eating some clock and not allowing the Huskies to get any great opportunities as Riefler shot in and out of the glove of McKim. Down to 10:55, and when you're up by 3 goals, what's kind of the mindset on the Beacons bench?
Yeah, I think you just need to take your time with the puck. There's no sense in forcing any shots to get through. Using the ice in the offensive zone, cycling it around the outside, only getting opportunities that are there.
Here's Burum, who looks like she was being held a bit there by a Husky. Brianna Doty, lead pass for McLeish. No icing here as McLeish had a step. Madeline McLeish was the forward who was serving that 5-minute major, so she's a bit fresher. Burum lead pass, able to find McDougal. McDougal turns, swerves, looking for reinforcements, sends it all the way in. McKim will find the puck and hold on with 10:23 to go as the Beacons will send out Franciscowicz and Gustafson to join Wilbert. So it does appear, at least for the moment, the Beacons are going to change up their lines. Part of that could just be the amount of minutes that Kozik and Leffler just played on the 4-on-4 as McKim makes an easy save from distance. Wilbert and Nelson in the face-off, and another win for Wilbert. Butters another shot, and McKim the save and kicks it into the netting. And if you're UMass Boston, you're happy to just do this for the next 30 to 40 seconds.
Absolutely. The last two shots by Butters, she's had that lane. She didn't force it, took advantage of the open ice she had.
UMass Boston scored the opening goal just about 5 minutes into the second period. Allie Riefler, her second goal in as many days after Southern Maine had dominated the start of the second period. Beacons added a second 4v4 from Kaylee Kozik. Southern Maine responded. Amelia St. Amant tied it at 1. Then it was Kozik, who right now has the game winner on that 4-on-4 goal. Burum made it 3-1 late in the second. She stripped a Husky behind the net, and the wraparound shot was never seen by Haley McKim. And then the Beacons added a fourth goal just 30 seconds into this third period. Kozik again on a 2-on-1. Franciscowicz able to poke the puck loose, keep it alive out there with Sydney Boyle and Katie Leffler. Here's Boyle centering feed for Franciscowicz, and it pops up and falls right in front of McKim, who pounces on it. Rare time that we've seen Sydney Boyle, one of the two wingers on that fourth line. She'll get to stay out there with Leffler and Riefler. Tretchell dumps it in. Leffler giving chase. She's had multiple points in 3 of her last 4, including a 4-point night yesterday. Southern Maine breaks out with Tabor. Tabor, the team's leader with 8 assists this year. She's leading the charge. Tabor trying to go to the slot, and her pass intercepted there as she was looking for Jordan Colbert. Colbert makes the catch right in front of her own bench. Cross ice, almost stolen by Riefler, kept alive by Douglas. Under 9 minutes to go in regulation as the Beacons look for a 6-point weekend and to move into sole possession of third place. Burum coming in with McDougal. Burum hits the side of the netting there, still alive, and she almost had another wraparound chance there as we're going to see a whistle. A couple players down. That might have been off its moorings. But Rachel Burum has been a really exciting player to watch all season long, and she's a player who just doesn't give up on the play.
No, absolutely not. She's always one that finishes. She gets great shots every opportunity she can.
Burum 6 points this year, all 6 coming at home. She gets a shot right off the face-off and another save for McKim. Beacons were outshot in the first period in terms of shots on target, 16-6, but they have held a big shot advantage ever since, including a 19-9 lead in the second period. Off the face-off win, it's McDougal dishing it off for Maggio, for Kozik, right back for Maggio, gets a shot up it high, and it catches the boards behind McKim. Right now it seems like the Beacons are maybe the team more likely to add another goal rather than Southern Maine getting one back. Kozik battling right in center ice for Maggio, and now it's Shantz. Gabby Shantz all the way behind the net, still with it. Dishes it and instead finds McLeish for Southern Maine, but McLeish is met by 2 Beacons in the neutral zone, and it's Franciscowicz to the top of the slot, sends a shot wide, follows up on it, picks up her own rebound, loses an edge, and eventually it's Southern Maine who has it for a moment, but Buddington will dump it in. It's Gustafson with it. 2 players go down at the top of the slot, no call. So looks like Wilbert might have been knocked down by McLeish that time. McLeish unable to handle it. Gustafson tips a shot wide. Franciscowicz with it with a defenseman draped all over her. That's Colvin. Gustafson aiming to hold off Snow. Instead, it's Snow who controls. And the cross-ice pass finds Crowley. Crowley 1v3 here, and her shot goes right into Buddington as Southern Maine was getting 4 changes. Under 7 minutes to go in regulation of what would be a huge win for UMass Boston. Aiming to pick up their second straight win, something they've done only once this season. Beacons have not earned wins in the same weekend yet this year. They defeated New England College on the road and then William Smith here at home in early November and have not earned back-to-back wins since then. This would be 2 straight conference wins and get them back within a game of 500 overall and 3 games over 500 in conference play. Shot from distance, knee down by Leffler. St. Amant gets very little behind her effort. Picked right back up by Douglas. Below the goal line, it's Shagnon, team's leading scorer, who has not had a ton of chances today. The Beacons have slowed her down a bit. Shagnon with it here. Into the zone, darts through a couple players, the far circle, backhand, and Kennedy denies her. Under 6 to go, UMass Boston holding on to a comfortable 4-1 advantage. Both teams are skating down a player after both Liz Cramp and Allie Stymiest were sent off 5 minutes into the period on a matching roughing call, I would imagine. There was a scrape in the Beacons goal mouth that included Stymiest hitting the Beacons goalie in the face and then Cramp retaliating. Burham ahead for Kozik. Kozik from the far circle, potential hat trick bid. Beacons have had 3 players scoring 2 goals in a game this weekend. 11 in total compared to 4 for their opponents. Burham wrestles a Husky away from the puck, and right now it feels like it's going to take a lot to get a call in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think after the last couple penalties we've seen, I think it's going to take a while.
Kozik is tripped up, I think incidentally that time, by Brianna Doty. I think Burham should have gone to the box for 2. There have been a couple plays by the Huskies that could have gone as well, as we've got an offside, but feels like the referees are just trying to get this game to its conclusion, hopefully with no more penalties and no violence between these two sides, who met in the 2020 conference quarterfinals. If all things go well, these teams wouldn't play each other till a potential conference final, just because as the 3 and the 4, they would be on opposite sides of the bracket. So we've got a penalty here. It looked like a little bit of a hit there on Georgie Snow, and we'll see who's going to the box. And it's going to be the opposing number 17, Katie Wilbert, who dished out a bit of punishment.
This could be the final opportunity and advantage for Southern Maine to have right here against the Beacons. They really have to take this time, not force any plays, slow the puck down, try to create as many opportunities as they can.
Southern Maine scored a pair of power play goals yesterday, but have been unable to score in the power play today against the Beacons penalty kill that has not given up a power play goal against anybody but Salem State since early November. Burham on the penalty kill, looking to get a shot off, goes off the leg of a Husky, and the Huskies will enter the zone, pass just out of the reach of Shagnon. Shagnon battling with Buddington. Physicality level has definitely gone up in this game. Keeping it in the zone is Nelson. Nelson shot from distance. Kennedy to save, second chance, and scoring on the rebound is Georgie Snow. Her 5th of the season and her 2nd against UMass Boston.
That's exactly what Southern Maine needed right now. Still 3 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game. They have the opportunity to tie this up.
5th of the year for Snow, the sophomore out of Yarmouthport, Massachusetts, who's now got 5 goals and 3 assists. And that's a huge one at 4-2. Okay, you're back to even strength, but now you can think about pulling the goalie a little bit earlier, or even just pulling the goalie in general down 2. You never pull the goalie down 3. we've got an offsides. And let's take a look at that goal for Southern Maine. This was one of the few times Kennedy really struggled to defend her rebounds.
No one from the Beacon side over there. Georgie Snow had that opportunity and took it for sure.
Assist goes to Julianne Nelson, who's had a goal in both games this year against the Beacons. Now has a goal and 3 assists on the season. 3:30 to go. Can't possibly pull the goalie with the puck in the Husky zone. As Allie Riefler was trying to get it to the goal mouth. Instead it slowed down, comes out of the zone. Leffler tried to dump it in, but it caught the chest there of a Husky. Colbert is battling with her own teammate Douglas for possession. That allows Boyle to bring it into the zone. Drop pass for Kozik. Kozik loses the puck for a moment, and now she's pushed off of it. No look pass by Douglas, comes back and picked up by Buddington with 3 minutes to go. Alexa, right now, what's the Beacon strategy in making this difficult on Southern Maine to get any opportunities?
If I'm UMass Boston, I'm skating the puck to the red line and dumping it in every time.
No movement thus far from McKim as Southern Maine finally gains the zone. Still a 2-goal deficit, but certainly much easier to potentially get one back if you have the advantage in numbers. So McKim is standing just outside her crease, and no kind of comments from head coach John Lozier in his 16th season. Centering feed, great opportunity and a big-time save on Amelia St. Amant, who was looking for her second goal and second collegiate goal. That easily could have been 4-3, and now a bad pass. Kozik, a diving effort, paddled away, and then the second effort goes wide out the stick of Franciscowicz. Good opportunity is on either side as the centering feed comes all the way through from Shantz. That chance for Amelia St. Amant is exactly what Southern Maine wanted, and a huge save from Victoria Kennedy. It's St. Amant still with it, as McKim has not come off. Now chance for Southern Maine to gain the zone. It comes into the Beacon zone, but Leffler has it, and Southern Maine will continue to leave their goalie out there. Minute 30 to go at this point. Wonder if the Huskies will even try to pull the goalie as Wilbert pushes one just wide of the net. Control by McLeish, at least for a moment. And Wilbert will just throw it towards net. Picked up by Tabor. McKim still looking and getting no signal. Shot from Tabor, slowed down by Buddington. It was going wide either way. Drill attempting to get it out of the zone, unable to do so. Handling it, getting it tipped away there was Snow, and there's a shot and an easy save on the Crowley look. 51.1. Are you surprised that Southern Maine has not pulled the goalie at any point?
Yeah, I've been looking. I'm very surprised that he hasn't. A minute of 51 seconds left, an offensive zone face-off.
And now we're going to get a timeout. If you're going to pull the goalie at this point, it's going to be right now. Southern Maine is going to use the timeout. You get the extra attacker on, but either way, you're going to get a play drawn up. Let's take a look, if we can, of that big save from Victoria Kennedy as she was able to deny Amelia St. Amant. I mean, if Southern Maine had scored here, this would have been a game. We're going to bring it to you live. We're just getting it set up. This was the chance for Southern Maine. As you see this centering feed, St. Amant in a great spot, one-timer, and just a big-time kick save. That was with 2:23 to go. This is a one-goal game with 2:23. You know the goal is getting pulled at that point. And Southern Maine would have had all the momentum. Victoria Kennedy coming up huge.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an incredible save by Kennedy.
And at the same point, when a player gets that wide open this late in the weekend, is a little bit of that just exhaustion?
For sure. I was looking for the Beacons player that was supposed to have her, and I didn't see her. I'm not sure where she was.
I mean, you're talking about 120, 119 plus minutes this weekend. Some of these Beacons defensemen played 30, 35 minutes yesterday. Today they've got 6, so maybe they're only playing 20 to 25. But a lot of hockey over a 24-hour span. especially you played 6 o'clock last night. It's not even been 24 hours for these players. We've got a defensive zone draw. Southern Maine has pulled the goalie. So 6-on-5 here, and it's won by Colbert back, and the shot from Douglas is knocked down. Beacons with a chance to clear the zone here. Tretchell has McDougal leaking out. Collected there by Doty. Still 37 seconds left, but Southern Maine needs 2. Broken up. Kozik on the hat trick bait. Kozik's shot scores, and she's got the hat trick. 29.1 left, and that will put the exclamation point on the weekend as the Beacons not only get a 3-goal lead back, but Kaylee Kozik comes away with the hat trick.
Kozik able to make that move in the neutral zone, put it on net from the neutral zone and able to make it.
Gotta love that for Kaylee Kozik, the Wexford, Pennsylvania native, now 7 goals, 15 points. She's got 17 career goals for the Beacons in 67 games, over 40 points for her career. And the Beacons are going to comfortably win this one as they lead by 3 with less than 20 seconds left. An unassisted tally from Kozik. The Beacons will get one last one. Kozik will rifle it over McKim's net, and that will do it. And Alexa, we both thought this was going to be a close one. We thought it was going to be a low-scoring game. What impressed you the most, not only by today's performance, but by the Beacons' performance over the 120 minutes this weekend? 12 goals is a lot for a Beacons team that sometimes has struggled scoring goals.
Yeah, I mean, I just think they took every opportunity they had. They realized when those open lanes were there, they got shots through. Yeah, they had some blocked today, but last night they were able to get so many shots from the point. I think they just took every opportunity they could. They kept the energy up. They knew how crucial these 6 points were this weekend, and they made it their focus.
We saw some big adjustments last night between the second and the third, and even the first and the second, I would say. We didn't see the immediate adjustment between the first and the second today. It took about 5 minutes, and then we saw the Beacons dominate. How much confidence does that give you as a player, give you as a coach, to see that this team making some of those changes, and maybe as an alum, seeing this team really be able to come out and adjust to how the opposing team's playing and make those tactical adjustments where Beacons seem to have the upper hand from a coaching perspective the last 2 days, in addition to the skill?
Yeah, I mean, to be able to not only make those changes, but realize when they need to be made. That's the most important thing. They realized that they were maybe coming out a little slow, their legs were a little tired, but they noticed it, and that's what's most important, and then they acted on it. And we were able to see that here today.
We're going to take a commercial break, then we'll bring you the final scoring summary, a look at the final statistics, and a look ahead for UMass Boston. They will be on the road next weekend, but they've got quite a few more home games down the stretch where they've been very good. They have now gotten points in 5 of 6 home conference games this year. Huge, considering they lost their home conference opener to Norwich, and ever since have picked up points in all 5 games.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play,
you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm Elizabeth Clavin, sophomore business management major from Edina, Minnesota. I love being a part of this volleyball team. Volleyball is what brought me to UMass Boston. I looked at our recruiting website one last time and saw UMass Boston on it, came out for a visit the next week, and it kind of hit all the boxes that I was looking for. In a good city, good academic school, good volleyball program, it had everything I wanted. Although it was far away from home, I knew this is where I wanted to be. Winning 6 back-to-back LEC titles is really a dynasty, I think, and Terry has really focused hard on recruiting and building this dynasty and continuing to build a program that can continue to win championships, and it's really lucky to be a part of something this great. Last year I was the Little East Conference Defensive Player of the Year, All-Conference second team, NCAA Regional MVP of the regional tournament, ABC All-Region Honorable Mention, and New England Women's Volleyball Association All-Rookie Team and Honorable Mention. I think my favorite game would have to be playing in the regional championship last year. We played against a really good Williams team, and I think that match, we started off a little shaky and lost the first set. We'd lost in the whole playoff season, and I think that kind of shook us a little bit. We came back firing, and we're ready to go those next couple games. Our coaches are bringing in a lot of really strong girls who want to make a commitment and make an impact in this program, and I think that is why we're continuing to do well and will continue to do well for the next few years. Being a student here has been really awesome as well. I've recently started taking more of my business classes and found that's a good choice and a good fit for me. And eventually I hope to open my own business and kind of be successful and do what I love at the end of the day.
UMass is very public service focused, and it piqued my interest, and I started doing more research on it. I'm very focused on what can I do to make the world around me a better place. My name is Lydia Grasso. I'm a junior at UMass Boston studying sociology and minoring in human rights. What I want to do is I want to work with women and children transitioning out of sexual slavery in Southeast Asia and helping them to find jobs, find housing, provide counseling, just the things that we kind of take for granted. Because I won the Chancellor's Scholarship at UMass, it allowed me to go to Cambodia. I was working at the Sihanouk Hospital Center of Hope in Cambodia, and it was just an amazing opportunity to just be able to get firsthand experience working with a human rights research project. Cambodia was really ravaged by a genocide, so there's a lot of rebuilding that's happening. I was in the place of something horrible that had happened. I could either go home and kind of forget about that experience and kind of block it out, or I could do something so that things like that never happened again. UMass provides me with opportunities that I wouldn't get anywhere else and gives me a global perspective in a public setting. I definitely transformed at UMass.
UMass Boston wins it by a 5-2 score over Southern Maine to pick up 3 key points in conference play. Let's show you the scoring summary. This game had more goals than we expected, but yeah, so did yesterday's game. So we, of course, lose graphics at the worst possible time. It seems to happen every single game in the last 2 to 3 minutes of a broadcast. I can read them off for you. Allie Riefler opened the scoring at 7:22 of the second period. It was Amelie St. Amant at 9:17 of the second. Kaylee Kozik scored the first of her 3 goals at 10:51. Probably Amelie, excuse me. Rachel Burham at 18:26 of the second period. Kaylee Kozik made it 4-1, 30 seconds into the third. Then it was Georgie Snow at 16:12, a power play goal. Got them back, ended at 4-2. Kaylee Kozik, the empty netter, she completed her hat trick with just 29 seconds to go. Final stats in this one, incredibly close, as Southern Maine was able to rack up some shots late in the game. The two teams ended up tied in shots, with the Beacons' Victoria Kennedy making 35 saves, 34 saves for Kayla McKim. Taking a look ahead, Elmira next Friday, William Smith next Saturday. You don't need 6 points. But if the Beacons can get 3, even 4 like they did the first time when they were at home, which, again, it's easier when you're traveling all that distance, or when you're the team that doesn't have to travel all that distance. 3 or 4 points next weekend would be huge for this team, but any points would be big to carry over the momentum from this weekend's play.
Yeah, I think Elmira will be tough, of course, but I definitely think 3 to 4 points, even 2, next weekend is doable for the Beacons. I think they'll have a lot of confidence from this weekend, coming off of 6 points, a crucial weekend that they needed. So it'll be interesting next weekend to see.
I'd like to give a shout out to our production crew, to our director and instant replay operator, Allie Crawford, our graphics operator, Mary Jo Murphy, our camera operators, Gina Albano and Danny Anderson, to my partner, Alexa Capione, excuse me. My name is Seth Orensky. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Final score of this one, UMass Boston 5, Southern Maine 2. The Beacons, a huge 6-point weekend to move into 3rd place in the New England Hockey Conference.